Hello and good afternoon all, and welcome to today's program here being organized by the Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses. My name is Nilesh Lele. I'm the current president of the chamber, and I would like to also welcome some of our other chamber members. Our advisory board member, Dr. Prakash Kondekar sir is here. Some distinguished speakers from industry. Mr. Sanjeev Sharma is here. I see Dr. Gauri Vahalkar, another well-known personality in food industry. Dr. Prabodh Halde will be joining us shortly to guide my student friends who have joined here. So the reason we have kept this webinar, and eventually we'll also tell you more about the internship program that the chamber has organized for the students, is from our experience of a few months back, where at the chamber we had launched an internship program for students, which was mostly lecture driven, because we were still in the first and the second lockdown phase, and many industries were not able to take interns on site. Sanjeev, I'm audible, right? Someone is saying I'm not audible.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay. So if
Yes,
some of you who may not be able to hear me, please, generally logging off and logging back in generally works. So please try that, Shamal or anybody else. So thank you, Dr. Kondekar. Thank you, Sanjeev. So in our experience in June, July, August, we had conducted a training program, an internship program, where it was more lecture driven. We had 3 lectures a week and 5 weeks training programs, so almost 15 lectures. And it was appreciated by most of the students and also their colleges. And with the same success we got back then, we decided that, okay, now that the things are opening up, we should also try to have a similar internship program, which will be lecture driven, where we can coach, we can tell students what is needed, what is it that the industry is looking for, and then also help them get internship in various industries. We already have commitment of industries where we will be able to place minimum 30 students all over India at physical locations as part of the internship, maybe starting Jan onwards or depending upon your availability. And that's the program we want to talk about today. But before I get into the actual details of the finishing school plus internship program that we have launched, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Sanjeev Sharma, who is a very well-known personality in food industry. Probably most of the students must be familiar with all those MPSC, UPSC kind of textbooks, food safety officer examination textbooks that he has written, as well as some fictional. I think he has 2 fictional books to his name, one being Loves and another being Lafange, and being in the industry for almost 15 years. So we would like to hear from the horse's mouth that what is it that the industry expects from the interns, what are some of the things, where they can polish themselves, and how this finishing school can actually benefit them to have a great career as an intern and later on as a full-time employee. So I welcome Sanjeev sir, and I hand it over to you. And I request everybody to please try and stay on mute. If you have any questions at any time, please put it in the chat box. And at the end, we can have an open Q&A session, but probably not for next 30-35 minutes. Request to everybody to please stay on mute because it tends to disturb the link of the speaker. So Sanjeev sir, over to you. And thank you very much for accepting our offer to be here and guide our student fraternity who's joined here. I think I see around 180 students and teachers and others from the food industry who have joined us here. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Nilesh, and the chamber team for first of all conceptualizing such a wonderful topic, which is the need of the day. And thanks for giving this opportunity and also including this lecture in your program. So whatever I'm going to speak today, friends, that is a part of one of the lectures out of, I guess, 27 lectures there. So what I'm going to talk about is entirely based on my observation, my interaction, and my interpretation. Why I'm saying this? Because everyone have gone through different career path. One career path cannot be matched with others. Somebody might have seen successes at the early stage. Somebody might have seen failure at the early stage. Somebody might have not seen any failure in their life. Somebody might have not seen any success in their life. Everyone will have different kind of interpretation of their career path. What I am going to share is based on my experiences, based on my interaction with different kind of people, and based on those interaction, whatever is my interpretation. The topic is what industry wants. Nilesh, are you going to share the desktop or I will share my content?
You can share. You have been made a co-host.
Okay, great. Great. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
So as many of you are now planning to get into the industry as a trainee, as an intern, which I did in 2005. I did my 3 months internship in Coca-Cola Bhopal under the guidance of Dr. Prabodh Halde. And that was the first time when I met him. So it's very, very important to know where you are going, what food industry is all about, what all different departments it has, where as a food technologist, you can make your career, and what all skill sets are required to grow in that department. Again, mind it, what I'm saying, it is to grow in that department, not to get into that department. To get into the food industry or to get into a particular department, you need basic knowledge of your food science, some applied knowledge of food science. But to grow in a particular department, you need particular skill sets. So today I'm going to talk about those things. And also, we should be aware about the competitors, because we should not be in a kind of complacence that people will take only food technologists in a food industry. So a food industry is not different from any other industry. It is also a combination of different departments. Whether it is a food industry, textile industry, whether it is an automobile industry, paint industry, or name anything. It is a combination of different departments who work with a common goal to increase the profitability of the company. Each and every department plays their crucial role, plays their part in achieving that target. So in a food industry also, we have a production department, we have regulatory, marketing, sales, legal, quality, logistic, R&D, procurement. So a combination of different departments we have. As a student, even when I was doing my studies as a BTech, in BTech or Masters, I used to think that I can have my career in production, in R&D and quality department. That is true also. Most of our career as a food technologist are limited to this production, R&D and quality. But it is not only limited to this. We have career in regulatory also. We have career in sales also, legal also, and procurement department. So let me take one by one. Especially, let me take this regulatory part, because you all must be aware of production, R&D, and quality, what it is at least. But what is a regulatory department? Regulatory department is that department in a food industry which guides the R&D department and overall business on what FSSAI, which is Indian Food Regulation System, guides us. So R&D person cannot formulate a product which is not approved by FSSAI. They cannot use any raw material which is not approved by FSSAI. They cannot make a label or artwork, or we call package, which is not as per the norms of FSSAI or the legal metrology department. So this regulatory department decodes all these terminologies that they help R&D team to understand the rules and regulations laid by FSSAI so that they can create a product. They can create a product and pack them in a right packaging which conforms to the local regulation. When I say local regulation, it is the regulation where the product will be sold. So if a MNC operates from India and they manufactures product for Southeast Asia market or Australia or Middle East market, the regulatory person has to have knowledge of those regulations of Southeast Asia, Australia, or Middle East market as well. Similarly, if MNC is importing the product from outside country, then it is a regulatory department which guides that manufacturing company or the manufacturing country that to import this product, we should comply to particular regulation. So this is another department where you can make your career. One of the biggest name in this field is Dr. Prabodh Halde. When you get a chance to interact with him, try to understand what is actually a regulatory department. What I have shared is just a nutshell. Another department which is not directly associated with food technologists, but I have seen many professionals making their career in this department also. I'll start with sales. Here, I am not talking about B2C sales, business to consumer sales. The kind of salesperson you might be imagining who goes to different shops and sells the product. Here I'm talking about techno-commercial. The commercial team who is having technical background. So in a food industry, there is also a parallel industry which supports the food industry, which is the ingredient industries, flavor industries, which provides the basic ingredients to the food industry. Many times these ingredients are functional ingredients. The flavors are functional flavors. So a person selling this product should have the technical knowledge. Then only he or she will be able to interact with the R&D colleagues. Until and unless that person understands the functionality of the ingredient, how he or she will be able to interact with the R&D person. Let me give an analogy here. If you were going to an electronic shop and you want to buy a smart TV, and there you find a salesperson who is not able to explain you that how to connect this TV with internet, how to browse it, how you can see Netflix or Amazon Prime in the smart TV, what all functionality it has, how you can mirror your mobile phone in your smart TV, how you can use it for your video call with your friends and families. I don't think you will be happy as a customer. And even maybe that you will leave that shop and you will not buy it from them. The similar way, if the functional ingredients are being sold by someone who doesn't know what is viscosity, how his thickener will improve the viscosity, how his anti-caking agent will help in minimizing the caking in the powder, any R&D person will not be interested in buying those. If that person doesn't understand the problem statement shared by R&D, how that person will carry those information back to their application department to create the ingredients. So the techno sales department is that department which helps in bridging this gap. And many of the food technologists are at the senior position in this department in ingredient industry and the flavor industry. The procurement department. This is that department which buys raw material, packaging material, equipments for the industry. And especially for the raw material department, the person who buys it, you can make your career there also. Because when you buy from the supplier, if you are a technical person, you will be able to again negotiate well with them. because you understand the crop cycle. You understand the commodity prices, how it fluctuates, what all factors influences it, like what all factors influences the wheat production and how it impacts the pricing, what all factors impact the milk production and how it impacts the pricing, how from the same milk different streams can be produced from whole milk to whey permeate powders, then you will be able to negotiate with. The last, legal, it is exactly what you are thinking right now. I'm talking about being an advocate. After completion of graduation, if you can have an LLB degree, this is again a suggestion, and this is my personal feeling. I have seen few people making their career as a techno-legal advisor. If a food technologist become an advocate, he will be the right person to represent the food industry at the court of Indian law, because they will be able to translate the issues more in technical way, giving a full support of the legal framework. So these are the different departments where you can make your career. So what I'm going to now talk about, the 4 major departments. What are the key skill sets required to grow in that department? And who all are your competitions? Let me start with production department. Yes, the production department is that department which manufactures the product. Whatever they manufacture, maybe 200 tons a day to maybe 2,000 tons a day, depending on how is the size of the industry. Now, what are the skill sets required to grow in that department? Again, I'm emphasizing in this word, to grow in that department, not to enter in that department. Don't get confused here. Because when you come out of the college, you all are equal, but you have certain skill sets. With your basic degree, you get into the company. But someone grow in a particular department, someone change the department, someone remains in the middle, because of that particular skill sets are not matching with the requirement. So a person aspiring to make their career in production department should be very, very good in machineries and equipment, understanding machineries and equipment. That person should be very good in people management, because the industry is run by many workforces, the operators, the attendants, the supporting staffs. So you should be very good in managing them. When I started my career in production in Nestle Maggi noodle line, I used to handle 200 people in a shift. Fresh out of the college, I was given a shift role, and 200 people were under me, and I used to manage them. So there I learned the first thing, that human resource management, people management is very, very important to grow in a production department. Third thing you should be good in your product, the food science, the science of the product in which you are manufacturing. I am not saying that you should be very good, you should know all this science of all the food products. No, the product which you are manufacturing, you should be aware of it. What are the factors which impacts the quality of it? How you can improve those things. So once again, I'm revising. Very, very good in equipment and machineries. Very good in people management. Good in the food science. You should have good information of the quality systems. You should have good information about the regulatory systems. Now, these are the requirements to grow. But who all are your competitors? They are the food technologists, other food technologists, packaging technologists, chemical engineers, chemistry, organic chemistry graduates, biotechnology graduates, nutritionists, and any people with the relevant experience. So you have to compete with all those people. When you will get into the, go to the company for your internship, you might be interacting with many people, and you will be surprised to see that your people, the colleagues, they are not food technologists. Then you might be thinking how it is happening. They are not food technologists, still they are running the factory. The reason is that they have the relevant experience. Next is R&D. R&D, as you know, it is research and development, but it has many sub-departments. It has product developers, it has process developers, analysts, chemical analysts, sensory experts, it has packaging technologists, it has nutritionists. You can make your career in any of them. But there are some basic requirements to grow in this department. You should be very, very good in the science of the food on which you are working. Very, very good. You should be very good in understanding the equipments and machineries. Unless you understand equipments and machineries, you will not be able to scale up your product. You might make a recipe of 1 kg or 2 kg in your lab, but unless you don't understand the equipments and machineries at the factory level, you will not be able to make it at the factory. So you should have good understanding of the equipments and machineries. You should have the good understanding of the local laws. Unless you understand the local laws, local food regulations, your product will not be viable. You should have good understanding about the quality system. Okay. Now competitions. This department still have majority of food technologists, but still there are other competitions like packaging technologists, same chemical engineers, chemistry and organic chemistry, biotechnology graduates, nutritionists, and the people with relevant experience. Next is quality department. The quality department is that department which manages the overall quality management system of the company, from quality assurance to the product specification to the finished good specification, food safety measures, sanitation of the plant, everything. So this person should be very, very good in understanding the quality system. This person should be very, very good in implementing the quality system. This person should have very good understanding of the equipments and machineries. Unless that person understands equipments and machineries, he or she will not be able to devise a proper quality system. That person should have good understanding of the product on which they are manufacturing it. There are other competitors also, like food technologists, chemistry and organic chemistry graduates, biotechnology graduates, microbiologists. This is important because in quality department, in many of the companies, there is separate microbiology department who takes care of the overall microbiological standards of the company, equipments, factory, raw material. And there you will have microbiologists as your strong competitors. And obviously people with relevant experience can also make their career in quality department. Next is techno-commercial department. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this person interact with R&D. They work as an interface or the mediator between the ingredient and the flavor industries and the R&D department. So this person should be very, very good in communication. He should be very, very good in interpersonal skills. He should be good in understanding and articulating the product functionality. समझना भी है, बताना भी है. He should be able to understand it well and able to articulate it. Okay. And the competitions, again, food technologists, MBA graduates, biotechnology graduates, chemistry and organic chemistry graduates, and any other people with relevant experience. So these are the 4 departments where you can make your career. When you go to this company, try to interact with the people from all the departments. Okay. Now, small tips and tricks I would like to share where you start going for the implant training. First thing, nothing is out of the syllabus. If you are getting a training in quality department, don't think that you have to learn only about quality. It's an opportunity to get inside the company, then learn anything you are exposed to. Don't trespass any other area where you are not allowed to go, but try to interact with people, try to interact with many people, especially at the canteen time. during lunch time, during breakfast time, or if you are in night shift at the dinner time, in the canteen, you will be exposed to people from different departments. Show your interpersonal skill there. Go and sit with them. लंच और डिनर टेबल पे जो बात होती है बहुत अच्छी दोस्ती हो जाती है उसके बाद. Learn from anyone. Learn from anyone, from operators to managers with whom you are getting chance. So nothing is out of swings. Stretch yourself to learn more. That 2 or 3 or 4 months of time, try to maximize it. यही एक मौका है where you get chance. This is the only opportunity where you get chance to interact with people, relevant people from the relevant industry. Go and learn. If you are 3 or 4 of your classmates are going for internship together, don't make your own group and spend entire 4 months or 3 months together without interacting with others. Don't isolate yourself. Spread yourself. Go and meet people. Talk with them. Maximum kya hoga? What will happen? They will not say hi to you. What will happen? They will not reply to all your questions. But there is one famous line of Tata Sky. Puchne mein kya jata hai? Go and ask. Go and discuss with them. Focus on science and technology. It may happen that people in the industry will not have sufficient time to teach you everything. But go and see, okay, today I was working on the frozen line. I'll go and refer to my books and my notes and learn about it. Go and learn about technology. Now you have access to internet. Go and learn. Go and search about those technologies. Learn. After coming from training, spend again time on learning whatever you have learned in the company. Focus on business management also. As a technical person, if you want to grow, where you will grow? You will become the leader. You will go to the business leader. If you want to grow as R&D, you will become an R&D head, production head, manufacturing head, quality head. And the people sitting at those departments or those positions, they are less into science and technology, more into management. So learn about business management. Learn about basics of business management, basics of finance, learn about it, basics of R&D management, basics of quality management. Learn everything, whatever you can. Focus on overall skill development. It is required. Mehnat karoge, people can see you. But if you also have added personality of your presentation style, your speaking style, your humility, people will identify also. People will appreciate also. Work there with smart way. Show them your both smartness and technical rigor, everything. Focus on overall skill development. Don't do these mistakes during implant training, being late. See, when you are a trainee, you will be scrutinized very, very rigorous way. तुम्हें हर कोई देखेगा, observe करेगा. Everyone will look into you and make a judgment about you. Your first impression can be last impression. Your first impression can be deterrent to your career. And one of the things which people don't like is impunctuality. So don't be late in joining the company, during the first job, during the daily reporting time. Don't be late. Training is not your college, so don't bunk during training. If you have to write any exam, entrance exam, align your process, align your manager in advance. Don't just bunk. There you are not for fun. There you are to learn something. And remember, many times you go there and you represent your company. Sorry, you represent your college. Either you represent your college or you represent someone who have given you opportunity to do training there. Your single mistake is going to ruin the reputation of your college and the person who has nominated you. This has happened with me. All these things, again, I am saying that it has come out of my experiences. I had arranged 5 people for a training in Britannia. People joined after 15 days without informing the HR. How that person will be allowed to get into the company. There was another case, 7 students were joined in one of the companies. It was in North. Time was January. There should be a common sense that North is always colder than the South India. People didn't go there prepared. After spending 2 days in the company, they just skipped without informing the company. And whose reputation was in stake? It was mine. So, and whose reputation was in stake? It was college reputation. There was a case where one college student did some ruckus in the canteen area. And after that, that college was blacklisted from doing training in that company. So remember, when you are joining a company, you are carrying the responsibility of image of your college. Okay, so try to maintain that image. Last point, third point is, we generally try to impress by pointing out the mistake. Don't do that. Nobody take the criticism in a positive way. Moreover, when it is by a training, don't find out fault in their process, because in that hurry of impressing someone, you try to find out the issues or problems or the mistakes or the fault without going into the depth of the issue, without going into the detail of the issue, without looking into the issues from all the angles. And if you are confident that you have looked into the issues from all the angles, then only you should present your case. Otherwise, avoid it. If you want to impress them, then do it by your hard work, by your faster learning. We call it learning agility. How fast is your learning curve? Do it by sincerity. Do it by your technical knowledge. Don't do it by showing their mistakes. Because in that short span of time, in that short, with that limited knowledge, it is very difficult to look into the problem of established company through all the angles. Many of you might not be agreeing to me, but take it as my advice that people generally don't appreciate mistakes, criticism. Okay, you can also impress them when somebody has put the problem statement in front of you. That Sanjeev, this is the problem. Do you have solution? Can you suggest something? You do it by, you can impress at that time, but not going there with a critical mind and finding out faults in everything and talking about the faults in front of the employees there. That will be again detrimental for your career. And don't join the internal politics. Remember, whether you are in college, whether you are in parliament, whether you are in company, there are always internal politics. Don't get yourself into it. Don't get yourself into it because of regionalism, because of casteism, because of religion, because of alumni tag, anything. Sabse dosti karo, but don't get into the internal politics. So they are the points which I wanted to share out of my experiences. That's all from my side. And before coming to this call, when I was having interaction with the chambers, so whatever I have talked right now is something which is not taught in the college. So which comes out of the experiences by the experts who have spent their time in the industry. So there is always a gap between academia and what industry wants from you. Okay, and that gap, because of that gap, you are called as fresher, not as the trained. So CSMB and Food Tech Pathshala has really come out with a interesting program, which is called finishing program, which will give you some basic applied knowledge, so that you can little bit graduate yourself from fresher to the trained person. Over to you, Nilesh.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Nilesh, before we go further, I have one suggestion to Sanjeev. Just he can mention some of the common processes in food industry. Just he can name it, that's all, nothing else. Because no need to explain it further. Thank you.
Sir, can you explain that part, common processes in terms of?
Suppose we are taking the finished product as a mango juice. Start from the mango as a fruit.
Yes, sir.
And just mention some of the stages, particularly processes. That's all. This is one just example for the all students. That's all.
Sure, sir. Sure. So yeah. Okay. Let me present in a different way, sir. That again, almost all the processes are set of unit operations. Okay. Whether we are in a juice industry, whether we are in a retort industry, whether we are in a fish industry or chocolate industry, everything starts from the procurement of the raw material. Starts from their quality check, and then it goes to sorting, grading, and the processing part. Even if I take example of chocolate industry, where I have my experience. So we take the raw material, different raw material from dairy to sugar to cocoa, everything. It goes through the quality check, the incoming quality check we call it. Few of you might have understood, have read about the dairy quality checks, where we do the density checking. In case of juices, if we buy fruit concentrate, we do the quality check in terms of bricks. If we are buying wheat flour, we do quality check like moisture content, protein content, everything based on the end product. So once the raw material is qualified in terms of the minimum criteria of this, as per the specification, it goes to the processing line. In case of chocolate manufacturing, we have conching step, where all the raw materials are mixed together, and there is phase change, there is emulsification, and post that there is tempering, where all the fats, as if you have read about it, the cocoa butter are polymorphic in nature. So they are present in different forms, but only beta prime is the most stable form. So during tempering process, all the crystals are converted into beta form and into most stable form. After that, it is molded in the mold, different shapes and sizes. It goes for cooling. After cooling, again, most of the industry have the common setup, that is packaging line. This packaging line can be manual also, like manual filling of the juices. It can be automated also. Post that, there is labeling, there is coding, whatever coding you see, then it goes in a big cases. Again, there is coding. So starting from the incoming raw material to the end of the product, till it is packed, at each and every point, we ensure that the quality is met, whether it is food safety quality or the product quality. We ensure that the product are at every stages, it comes out with a minimum set of criteria defined by R&D people. At every stage, if we ensure that each and every parameters are met, then only we can ensure that the end product will be meeting the required criteria. Every time, all the products which are coming off of the factory will be having of uniform quality and sensory parameters. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Sanjeev.
Thank you, sir, for this point. Yeah.
Thanks, Sanjeev. And there are a few more questions in the chat box, which probably we'll take it at the end. So let me just go through the balance of the PPT. And based on the inputs that you have just given and through our discussions offline, we have designed this finishing school, and I wanted to explain to the students, and hopefully the top 30 students will also place them, will also help them get internships in different factories across India. So they will get the finishing school where, you know, some of the tips that you just mentioned, some technologies like Dr. Kondekar was asking about. So there's one course on dehydration, there's one on retort. So they'll get to learn a lot on the technology side. They'll get to learn on quality, on product development. So we have tried to make it into a comprehensive course where the gap that many a times industry feels, like being an SME chamber, most of our members keep telling us that there is a gap, you know, the students coming to us or the interns coming to us are missing few things. So that we are trying to bridge that through this finishing school. And you can always visit our website at foodtechpathshala.com and get more details. But here I want to tell you that there are 5 industry experts who have designed around 27 topics, and I'll tell you about the topics on the next slide. But before we get there, there are 27 different videos of almost 12 hours of lectures that are available to you, with a question bank of around 100. What we have already been able to secure is around 30 interns will be placed with our help in different industries across India. And we are trying to see if, depending upon how many students enroll for this program, we'll try to increase this quantity. But we can assure that at least 30 of the top performing students, we will definitely help them get placed for internship starting Jan 1st onwards. So Sanjeev, next slide. Yeah, just 1 second. So these are the 7 topics that have been identified. And like Sanjeev mentioned, we have a course on different concepts or how the food industry is structured. We have one course on basics of finance, because like if you remember, Sanjeev did mention about you might be in a regulatory field, but you need to understand the other aspects of the business, you know, how the costing works, how the procurement works, how also the finance works. Like you may develop in R&D, you may actually develop a fantastic product, but if it is not financially viable, it will not fly, right? So we have introduced a concept where we feel that especially people coming from technical backgrounds do lack a little bit of finance background. So we have one course on finance. We have a course on research and development, R&D in food industry, again from a stalwart, Mr. Ritesh Mathur, who's the current secretary of AFST Mumbai. So he has delivered that lecture. Then we have one session on HACCP, where the whole aspect of quality which is being addressed there. And then there are 2 technical subjects, where one on fruit and vegetable dehydration, another on retort processing. And then like regulatory or FSSAI is another key aspect that you should know. So there is one session, one lecture on the food regulation, especially the labeling, packaging, advertisement, and claims regulations of FSSAI. So we have tried to encompass the whole spectrum that you need to learn, and probably the gap from going from an academic educational background to the industry where some of these things are not taught. So that's what we have tried to bridge the gap through these 7 sessions or 7 lectures, totaling to more than 12 hours of lecturing time. Next slide. So it comes with some terms and conditions, right? Everything in life comes with terms and conditions. So you need to obtain. So there will be exam, there will be quizzes after every lecture, and you will have to score at least 70% to qualify for the internship, as well as qualify to get the. I request others to please stay on mute. To qualify for internship, because right now we have restricted internship slots of only 30, and also to get the certificate from Food Tech Pathshala and endorsed by the Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses. In case if there is a tie, or if there are more students who are eligible for getting that internship, then we will conduct a group discussion as well as interview to shortlist the candidate, and the best performing students will be eligible to get those internships. But like I said, we will try our best. If there are more students, more deserving students who are wanting to do physical internship, we'll try our best. We have a lot of members, SME members in our chamber, so I'm sure most of them will be more than happy to take you as interns. Just 1 second. Yeah, once the candidates are declared as qualified by us, we will send your resumes to the industries that will be of your choice, and then from there you and your college can discuss further with the industry that has been identified or wants to take you as an intern. And post that, whatever happens, like, whatever behavior or other things that happen between you and the company will be a mutual thing. Food Tech Pathshala or the chamber will not be directly involved or take any responsibility for that. Right now, since most of the students who are attending here are also from Maharashtra, most of the companies that we have approached are from Maharashtra. We have few from North. So depending upon how many students enroll, how many are eligible for internship, we will definitely try to help you with your preferred location so that you don't necessarily have to travel too far to remote locations and to far away locations. So we'll try our best depending upon who enrolls and who will become eligible for doing the physical internship in different industries. So that's simple conditions. Next slide, please. So the course right now, can I request someone is getting unmuted to please be on mute. Next couple of tabs also. So the way the course has been designed right now, it's 1 week finishing school we will have starting tomorrow. You can start once you enroll, you can start viewing these videos, and you will have up to 1 week up till 20th of December to view these videos. Of course, some students might be having exams or something, so we'll try to work around if there is a challenge in you finishing the lectures. But as of now, the duration is for next 7 days starting tomorrow, where you will have a chance to view, and it's only 12 hours of lectures. I guess you can cut down on your Netflix and Amazon Prime and some other things, and hopefully make the most of your time and view these 12 hours of lectures, which will actually help you a lot when you go for your physical internship. And then by 22nd of December, we will declare the final results. And if need be, we will have a round of group discussion as well as interview. So by 25th of December, hopefully at least 30 of you will be placed at different locations across India for physical internship starting from sometime in January. This program right now we have designed is at around 4,999, but we have brought it down at 2,499. And in case you use, whoever is attending this webinar today, they can actually use the discount code of FTP 499. So effectively it becomes a 2,000 rupees course, where right from finishing school as well as getting placed in various industries is what this whole program entails about. Next slide, please. So thank you very much and good luck. And I'm sure some of you have interacted with us. And like I said, our almost 150 or so interns got trained through us in the summer months. And fortunately, with a lot of industries opening up now, we will be able to place at least 30 students in physical location all over India, because finally hands-on experience is also equally important vis-a-vis the technical experience, educational or learning experience. So that's about it.